All right. So, we're going to talk today about how I actually work 25 hours a week. I want you by the end of today's conversation to be able to realize that you have the ability, if you own your own company or you are creating the life that you're living and you have the ability to make your hours, I want you to realize it's possible for you. So, I am talking about this today because I actually have had at least three coaching and mentoring calls in the last 30 days with clients, and this has actually come up. Interestingly enough, it's something that we began talking about, but that wasn't necessarily what they were thinking that they needed help with. Tell me, does this sound familiar? Are you currently, quote, working, feeling as if you are working all the time, feeling as if you have designated time for work, you have maybe volunteer time, you've got time that you're checking emails, you have time that you're maybe doing marketing, you have time that you're doing either maybe discovery calls or sales calls or um, clarity calls to identify if someone is or isn't going to be a good fit. Maybe you're speaking at conferences, right? Doing, quote, all the things. And you're maybe telling yourself that you're working a certain amount of time, but you're actually not really calculating it. So let's break this down really simply. And we're going to walk through this in a way that I hope that you find to be super helpful. So the initial question is, how do I work only 25 hours a week? Answer: I only work 25 hours a week because that is what I feel God has laid upon my heart as what feels like a good balance for me as a CEO and as a business owner to be able to be the wife and the mom that I feel God has called me to be. Your number might be a different number. Maybe your number is 15. Maybe your number is 40. Maybe your number is 35. So please hear me. Um, this is not me trying to tell you that the right thing to be doing is for you to be working 25 hours. I'm genuinely just trying to answer this because I get asked this quite a bit. And I know for certain that there are many people, you yourself possibly included, that could benefit from really pulling back the layers of your work schedule and making sure that what you want to be doing is what is actually happening. Now, so the first thing I would say is step one is for you to actually be really intentional with knowing what are the number of hours that you want to work. Okay. Once you've identified that number, the second thing that is really, really important is for you to look at your work week and identify in general what that looks like. So let me give you my situation. So I have intentionally set my business up that Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays are my heavy work days. I, come in my office in the morning. I work typically till either 3:30, 4:30. I've got a little flexibility there. Some days I'm having to pick up my high schoolers. Most days I am not. And normally I take a break for about an hour for a time to do my exercising and to eat in the middle of the day. But for the most part, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are my longer days. I then on Monday and Friday am in the office, but I have flex time. So in general, on Mondays, I'm working and I am having no meetings with no person at all. And that's when I am working on my business. That's when I'm developing strategies. That's when I'm going, did we reach our Q1 goals? Hey, what are we wanting to do for Q2? What do we want to do for Q3 that I need to now in Q2 be gearing up for in order for it to happen in Q3, right? It's when I'm analyzing analytics, looking at reports, what's working, is social media most effective, what's really getting us the most traction. Okay, let's take that into consideration as we plan out the rest of like our business goals. So Monday, I'm working, but I'm not having meetings with other people. And I would say that I've got some flex. That's a day when I would typically schedule doctor appointments. It's a day that I might plan to get up and go walk at 8:30 a.m. with a friend of mine, right? But I am working. And then Fridays in general, I'm out of the office by noon. Most times, I'll be honest, I've had my Sweet Tea social marketing company since 2014, and I could probably count on one hand, the number of times that I have gone to get my nails done during day hours or just gone to meet with a friend for lunch. I love what I do. And I typically at 12 find myself going, okay, I'm going to get in a couple loads of laundry before the kids come, or I'm going to go take a really long leisurely walk, or I am going to go over and like hang out and have lunch with my parents. Isn't that so cool when your mom just lives like a mile away? I love that. Both of my parents live a mile away, but I say my mom because she's typically the one that I'm going to be walking with and, hanging out because my dad's probably watching Fox News or doing something different. So, all that to be said is I literally look at my work week and I literally make sure that if I say I want to work 25 hours a week, that I have that as to what that looks like in real life. Now, let me give you a couple tips. If you have scheduling tools, for example, if you have a podcast like I do and you're conducting interviews, or you have any type of tool where people are setting up a time slot to get on your calendar, leverage those. Make sure that it's synced with your Google Calendar if that's something that you use. So then it's going to automatically remove the times that are personal that you're not available. And so even though I'm working Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, in general, from 8:30 a.m. to 4, I don't have that entire window of time to be an opportunity for people to schedule coaching calls with me. Or I don't schedule all of that time for people to be available to schedule to do a podcast interview. Why? Because I like to kind of batch those. So if you went to, let's say, book a discovery call with me because you were considering hiring myself and my team, then you're going to see that I probably do have availability on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, not Mondays. And if on Friday, only in the morning for like an hour and a half, but it's going to be maybe in pockets of a 2.5 hour window out of my full workday. And that is so I can batch and be most productive. So make sure that you are smart with that time. But one of the biggest areas of opportunity, I would say, is that too many people say the amount of time that they want to work, but they actually haven't gone to look to go, what would that really look like in a perfect week? Okay. And then you have to begin exercising it and putting that into practice. And what I can tell you, if this sounds really new to you, the more you do it, the more second nature it becomes. It becomes so much more natural. It becomes easier. It makes sense. And it's going to be something that you are going to do more easily. So once you've actually set that intention, once you've actually gone and looked at it on your calendar, whether you're a print calendar person, or you're a digital calendar person, you literally need to make sure that you have it laid out in such a way that you like how it is. And then 3 is I would challenge you to do an audit of maybe one of your most recent weeks in work and ask yourself, is what you're wanting to do a reality with what's actually happening? If you, for example, want to only be doing work for 35 hours a week, and when I say work, that means you're like in I am work mode. If that 35 hours needs to include your business planning, your strategy, working on your business, your marketing, time to have sales calls, and if you have a service-based business and you executing, or if you have a brick and mortar and you're physically at a location, it needs to include those hours as well. And if something isn't matching up, guess what, CEO, guess what, decision maker, you have to say what needs to go, what's not important. Or if you're telling yourself that you have X, Y, and Z, are you doing that? Are you doing that? And are you executing that? So it's important for you to take the time to audit yourself. And then the fourth thing that I really just want to encourage you to do is to literally make the schedule that you create be something that you respect. It's almost a whole different podcast episode, but the reality is if you don't respect your boundaries in your work, and if you don't respect the opportunity in which the time at which you want to show up to be the leader, to be the boss, to be the strategy, to be that person in your company, if you can't respect the schedule, how on earth can you expect your potential clients or other people to respect your schedule? Now, caveat and disclaimer, this is just kind of like in general, under normal circumstances. So if you're going on vacation next week, maybe it means that this week you're tacking on an extra 5 hours to compensate for X, Y, and Z so that your vacation can be what it is that you want it to be. And if you're going to be going out of town and you're speaking at a conference, which was kind of my scenario recently, I left town, I was gone, I was out of office for 3 days. I was still working a little bit in the evening and a little bit in the morning, but my normal routine was off. So for me personally, that means typically adding a little extra in before I've left town. And it means intentionally within my 25-hour work week, going, hey, I need to designate X number of time to make sure that balls don't get dropped, and operating in integrity and operating in excellence is still able to happen. So how do I work 25 hours a week? I respect that that is what I feel that God has called me to do, to be the wife and the mom that I want to be for this season. I put blinders on. I'm not around looking at what everybody else is doing. If somebody else's perfect schedule is them working 50 hours, preach. More power to them. Fantastic. If your perfect life is you working 10 hours in your business, then I want you to show up and I want you to work those 10 hours, but I want you to be working those 10 hours and not telling yourself that you're working, but 3 of those hours you're lollygagging and not taking your business seriously. So we want to have more results. We want to thrive. We want to grow. And one of the greatest ways I have found to do that and to have a calendar that makes me joyful, because I am actually investing in making sure that my calendar on a weekly and an ongoing basis reflects the number of hours for which I want to work. Don't give your family sloppy seconds. Really show up, be that leader when you are in business. And when I walk out of my office at 4:30, I'm walking out. Like for those of you that may be watching the video of this, I've got a door right behind me and I walk through that door and I don't come back in till the following morning. Am I maybe on my phone checking and looking at a post here or there while I'm cooking dinner? Yes, but I'm not stepping foot back into my office. But that is because that is the business that I'm creating. So it's really important that you take from this conversation the high level kind of overview that I'm sharing with you and just pray about it and really ask God what makes sense for you for this season and for you to respect the schedule enough to sit down and to make sure that you look at these 4 points. I hope that this has encouraged you. I hope that this has fueled you and helped you. And we really appreciate you taking the time to be here with us. I am Heather Hyman. It's my honor and joy to be the CEO and founder of Sweet Tea Social Marketing and author of the book, The Golden Rules of Social Media Marketing. I absolutely love coming alongside businesses and organizations that are looking at life from a biblical view, unapologetically, that want to shine their light for Christ. I'm a digital missionary and I'm glad to be here. I hope that you have found today's conversation to be an encouragement to you. Be social with us, reach out, just go to our website, sweetteasocialmarketing.com, and let us know how today's conversation and content has been a blessing to you. In the meantime, I'll see you guys around. Take care.